It's Tuesday, the 9th of February 2021. Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Headlines, the business news you need in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Today's headlines: the local superannuation industry is set for a shake-up as the government closes off the early release scheme. Plus, global markets and oil rally on hope of a US stimulus package. Telecommunications company Vocus Group receives a $3.4 billion takeover bid. And technology stocks including REA, Afterpay and Zip surge. The $3 trillion superannuation sector is emerging as a critical flashpoint between businesses and unions and the Coalition and Labor Party. Final figures released yesterday from the regulator shows that $36.4 billion was withdrawn from the system as part of the government's controversial early release of super scheme. The money was part of the Coalition's COVID support program. While it undoubtedly helped Australians through tough times, its cost will be borne for decades, with lower retirement incomes for the 3.5 million people who accessed the scheme. The super industry is in a state of flux. Late last year, the federal government released its retirement income review, which in part said there needed to be more work done to make sure people had a better strategy for their retirement phase of life. It isn't just about saving money until you're 65, it's also about working out the best way to spend it. There's also a huge fight brewing over whether to increase the superannuation guarantee to 12% in coming years. The increase has already been legislated, but the government has hinted it might try and rescind the laws. The argument, supported by the Reserve Bank, is that people need money now more than in the future, given COVID-19 and the economic slowdown. But industry funds and Labor disagree, saying it's critical that people save for retirement. Super is the second biggest asset most people own, behind property. If governments of either colour keep picking away at superannuation, reducing balances, the scheme won't work. If investors don't have certainty or workers don't know the long-term rules, then the system won't work. Superannuation is too important to become a political football. In overseas news, Wall Street indices hit new all-time highs overnight as the Biden administration put pressure on Congress to pass a $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the world's largest economy could reach full employment next year if Congress passed the package. It's TikTok versus Facebook. The Chinese-owned video app will unveil new online shopping tools, taking on other social media giants to sell products to US consumers. TikTok said 40% of its audience was not on Facebook and 63% wasn't on Twitter. And Bitcoin hit another record high overnight after Tesla said it had invested $1.5 billion in the cryptocurrency last month. Bitcoin jumped 10% on the news. The car maker said it will soon accept Bitcoin for payment of its vehicles. Locally, the Australian share market closed up 0.6% yesterday to its best close since February last year, and the market is now 4% below its highest ever finish. The incredible recent run for REA continued. The online property group outlined a jump in earnings late last week, and yesterday its share price was up another 3%. It's 12% higher this month and is now the country's 19th largest company. Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt said there was no evidence of reduced effectiveness of the AstraZeneca vaccine, the jab which Australia hopes to roll out within weeks. South Africa halted its rollout of the vaccine after small clinical trials found it doesn't protect recipients against mild and moderate illness from a new strain of coronavirus in that country. Telco group Vocus has received a $3.4 billion indicative takeover offer from a Macquarie Group-backed fund, triggering a 15% surge in its share price. Vocus administers a fibre optic cable network, owns the Dodo and iPrimus consumer brands, and has plans to spin off its New Zealand business. Zipco's share price surged almost 13% yesterday after it emerged that it was heading to the United States seeking investors. Zip owns QuadPay and has big plans to make inroads into the buy now, pay later market in the US using the brand. Thus far, it's traded in the shadow of Afterpay, but US investor recognition would certainly better establish the group. McDonald's Australia has recorded its 7th consecutive year of comparative sales growth. According to the Australian newspaper, it also achieved its highest ever level of profitability for franchise owners. McDonald's opened 19 new stores last year and now has almost 1,000 outlets across the country and employs more than 100,000 staff. And finally, Qantas has just launched an airfare sale and upgraded onboard offerings. Far be it for me to promote any offering from Qantas or anyone else, do your homework before booking, but what did catch my eye was that the airline will extend its no change fee until 2022 and improve in-flight food and beverages for customers, including free wine and beer all day and new hot meal options. The airlines and tourism industry as a whole will offer some good deals in coming months as they attempt to rebuild their businesses. That's the Fear and Greed business headlines for today. Make sure you've hit subscribe so you don't miss out. There's also more in today's full Fear and Greed podcast, including an interview with Jeremy Fleming from Stage Kings, one of the most innovative companies in the country. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.